Hi, it's Rebecca Brush. You can still hear that I've got a little bit of my pneumonia. It was laryngitis and then it went pneumonia, but I think I'm back in laryngitis and getting over it. But I wanted to apologize for my voice. So this week, teaching the taboo, chapters 5 and 7, or 5 through 7. Chapter 5, page 78. A quote I really enjoyed was, "We have too often banned truth-telling and the fully passionate side of life from our classrooms in favor of formality and politeness, cool rationality and distance." And I think this is true. I think we don't want to get into the nitty-gritty, the dirty stuff. Not dirty in a bad way, but dirty as in potentially awkward or things that could possibly get in trouble, because there's so many things that will get us in trouble now as educators. I liked another quote, page 79. It said, "The project of child domination masking as child protection, the strict father ethnic embraced by the authoritarian does not make children safe." Basically that we're dominating them in the role and under the guise of being a father-like figure. That doesn't make them safe, and it doesn't make them safe. Children, I think, in this day and age are never truly safe. They have to really be taught how to make themselves safe. We can't be safe for them. We can teach them how to do that themselves, give them the skills to do that themselves. And then so on page 82 says, "We can't solve every problem in our classrooms, but we can recreate or create spaces where happiness is cherished, reason is respected, integrity and dignity are upheld and revered, and authentic hope is a real possibility." I like that because it's true. It's so hard as teachers to understand that they're little people, that are individuals. A lot of times we see a class, or we see this student is a misbehavior, this student is the talker, this student whatever. And then we need to strip away labels and just love them for who they are and teach them the good qualities that we can see in them. Then on to chapter 6. The Department of Defense, this is page 92. The Department of Defense has partnered with Department of Education and city governments both to sell its brand to young people and to secure positions of power over the lives of the most vulnerable youth. Honestly, I kind of objected that. They're talking about the militarization of schools, but they're not really militarized schools. That they're inviting the military into these areas. The military has come into these areas, and then the book is saying that that the military is preying on these underprivileged areas. But historically, students of more affluent areas don't see the military as something they have to do, because they see other avenues. They have more avenues open to them. In areas that are poor, students may not have the opportunity to go to college, and they see the military as a way to get a good career, a good way to finance their lives, their livelihoods, to get them money for education. So I really object to the way he's saying that they're trying to secure positions of power over the lives of the most vulnerable youth. I think the government has seen that. They know where their demographic is for people who are going to be going into the military, and it's silly to put offices in more affluent areas where they're not going to be even utilized. And then that was all chapter 6. Chapter 7, I like that. Page 106, "The teacher must try in good faith to do no harm, and then to convince students to reach out, to reinvent, and to seize an education fit for the fullest lives they might hope for." It's kind of naive as a new teacher, I think, maybe to say that, but I really do. I want my students to look at the world, to be excited by the world, to face it without fear, to want to make things better for themselves and others. So that is my hope. Okay, and then effective classroom management, chapter 6 and 7. Wow, I'm on 5 minutes, I'll try to make it quick. The engaging instruction, basically. One of the biggest things I got out of this was during a lesson to incorporate relevant content This is so important. It needs to relate to students' lives, and I see that every time I'm in a lesson that students tune out until you can relate it back to them, until you can say, hey, this affects you. Do you remember when you did this? Or you remember when this happened? And then they tune in. Students remember and engage when you make it relevant. And then Chapter 7, Addressing Discipline Issues. Page 81, Dealing with and Responding to Behavior Problems. The biggest thing that I took from this one was, number 1, preserve the dignity of the students. So important. If you embarrass them, they're not going to be open to changing behaviors, to doing something different. They are going to try and save face in front of their peers. They're gonna dig their heels in, and they're not going to change. And then you're having a battle of wills. Ultimately, you'll win the battle of wills because you have administration and everything on your side, but still, it's not a way to lead your students. You don't want to be an authoritarian, the disciplinarian. You want to be a leader. You want to inspire your students. So always preserve the dignity of your students, whether it's a discipline issue or not. And then page 87, iMessages. Oh, I love this. Which is communication technique that encourages students to take ownership for a problem they're experiencing. Students don't want to take ownership for anything, and I think this is important to teach them, that it's okay to take ownership of a problem. Okay, and then lastly, what should I do? Chapter 5. The biggest one I got from this is page 98. If assessments are used to help students monitor their learning rather than as a punitive measure used to judge what they don't know, students can come to understand that learning is possible. This is important because I think so many students see tests as a bottom line, and it shouldn't be a bottom line. It should be a way to see what they've learned and to grow. And I think that is going to be a challenge for me, as a way to assess them, to show them you can learn and things can change. You're not stuck in one place. It's not a static thing. You're growing as a student. So that's it for this week. Thanks.